goodness, it's almost weird to be back on stream. I'm so used to talking to people in person now. The Stack It Up chant went crazy. I did not expect that. They didn't have to do it, but they did. Guys, I saw HBox, all right? I'm going back to the hotel. I get to the hotel. I walk into the lobby. Who's coming out of the lobby? HBox. He's not looking happy. He's in fact looking quite sad. And it's like, and I gotta say something to him, right? Cause it's the first time I've seen him in person in a while. You know, I'm like, all right, well, here we go. Yo, what's going on, HBox? How you doing? I'm like, how you doing, man? I know, and I know he knows, right? So we're just, you know, how you doing? And he's like, got the worst place. His voice is so deep. Got the worst placing in my life. I'm just gonna try to get on commentary tomorrow. I gotta do something. I was like, oh, okay, well, I hope you still got a lot going for you. I hope you still have fun. He's like, yeah. And then, dude, it was so awkward because it's like the worst placing he's ever gotten. I commentated his loss, so it was like really awkward. I think I actually told him I commentated that. I think he might have asked if I saw it. Yeah, he asked if I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of commentated. And he was like, oh. I was like, oh. So I go up to my room, and my room key didn't work. And I went back downstairs to get my room key fixed, and HBox is in the lobby again, even though we both left the lobby before. And I was like, oh my god, this is so awkward. Hi again. He's like, hi. Like, I get it, man. How was the overall tournament experience? Energy levels and all were good? Yeah. I actually didn't bring as much stuff to try and support my energy as I normally do, because I wanted this to be like my serious test. And even though my sleep isn't the best, I actually felt like once I did my commentary block, I felt more energized than before, which was a little bit of the case in 2020 as well, but it was even more pronounced here. On Saturday, I was talking to people non-stop. I tweeted, I know not everyone's on Twitter, but I talked to people and everyone was so nice. My heart was so full. My heart was so full. I just went to bed just so content that day. I have heard, some nice things. People were coming up to me at the event telling me they liked the commentary. Hearing different people come up to me and say, hey, people were telling me about the commentary. Like, I think Cody said people were telling him about the commentary. I think Axe said people were telling him. I had the impression that I was doing a good job. So my block was supposed to be Saturday 1 to 3 with Dogi Sandwich. That was my block. I knew that was my block. That is not what happened, as you all know. I commentated from 3 to 5 with Turn Down for Walt, which was also really good, and I don't regret it. It was really fun. But why did that happen? Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you what not to do. I'm gonna tell you what not to do whenever you get to an airport so that you don't do this, okay? I was fumbling around trying to get my pickup location right and like trying to get the location for the hotel right. And as I was just getting that figured out, it took me a little bit. There was a guy that rolled down his window and said, hey, you need a ride? And I was like, I mean, yeah. But I hadn't ordered anything yet. And he was like, yo, my rider canceled on me. I can take you where you need to go. And I was like, dude. And I was like kind of just ready to get there. But I was also like, as I was going over, I was like, wait, this is how people get kidnapped. But I was also like, isn't that unlikely? And so I asked him if he had like any credentials or whatever. And he had like a little Uber authorization thing that let him get into the airport or certain places in the airport. So I was like, he's probably chill. But again, probably not a good idea. I don't recommend you guys do that. But he didn't charge me through the app. He like directly charged my card, and I think he overcharged me based on comparing, not by much. I think it was only by a little bit, but he still did overcharge me. And I was like, all right, we'll never do that again. But don't do that. Don't do that. Just take your time. But yeah, I almost didn't commentate because I almost got kidnapped. Not really, but Well, if he's a crazed fan, he locks the door and said, you PPMD? I'll be forced to commentate his Slippy games forever. I guess I would have done, I think I would have started with Sunsei Jeichu, because I think that was the first thing on stream. But it was funny that I didn't do that because I talked to Aklo, but we were watching that and Aklo was telling me, he was telling me how Pikachu is Fox's worst matchup. And I thought it was funny, but it's also like Aklo is just really good at the game. So I was like, I mean, honestly, whatever. It's kind of fun to have different opinions. But I was kind of like ribbing him a little bit because we were watching J-Chu Sunsei and J-Chu got like, it took like 8 openings per kill on one stock on Yoshi's. And I was like, hey, look how long it took to kill him. And he's like, no, that was just, it just happens sometimes. But like normally he just kills him. So Aklo and I were joking about that for a little bit. I also met Spark for the first time. I met Spark while I was watching Top 32 on Sunday, and Spark is so different than he was offline. Spark was like so animated, like he was almost theatrical how over the top he was. So I don't know if that like he ever does that on stream or like he doesn't really do that on his Twitter or anything. But I was so surprised. Spark just started going insane within like a few minutes of meeting me. Oh, I met Magi. Magi is one of the other people I met. I met her Saturday because I commentated her set after I talked to her. So I met her on Saturday. I must have met her pretty early Saturday. I met Magi, and then some of the people I saw before, you know, that met before I talked to again. I saw Plup, who only wanted to talk about Rivals 2, and he's like, hey, if you commentate my set, can you tell them I'm only thinking about Rivals 2? I was like, I got you. And I got on before Magi Plup, if you guys remember, and I said, yo, okay, so I talked to Magi, she's feeling confident, Plup's only thinking about Rivals 2. And Walt was like, you could, I don't know if the cam was on him or not, but he was like trying not to make a really disappointed face and noise, but he couldn't stop himself. He was like so disappointed. Like he's like, bro, you're killing the narrative here. But I mean, like, it is what it is at the end of the day. He loves some Rivals 2. Plup tried to talk to me about Rivals 2. He's like, hey, you still play? And I was like, no, I don't like what they did to Maple's Dash. And he was like, really? That bothered you that much? And I was like, yeah. But yeah, Plup really loves some Rivals 2. So I actually think my commentary was just better. Like, I think I was just better at packaging the information. I think I was more enthusiastic. I think I was more fun. Like, I just think my commentary was just better than it's ever been this time. I was really pleased with doing better. I still think I can do better than that, but I'm really glad that I did better. And then once the block was done, I basically just walked around because I was like, there were a lot of people in chat that were like, yo, I want to say hey to you. And I was like, okay. And so I met some people in chat. Like 3 people mentioned DBD to me between Saturday and Sunday, and I thought it was so funny. I was like, dude, it feels like when you're at Whole Foods and someone says, yo, are you the Melee player? Like, it felt like that. I was like, whoa, how do you know about my other life? It was really weird, but it was really funny also. So I was walking around and everyone was so nice. Everyone was super nice. Everyone, like, people were saying like the nicest stuff. People were walking around and they were saying, yo, people were like, you changed my life. Or people were like, I played Martha and Falco because of you, or one or the other. People were like, I love the streams. Not as many people said that, but still some of you did. W, you guys. Like I said on Twitter, my heart was so full on the end of Saturday. And I was actually losing my voice a little bit because like it was constant talking. Not that I'm complaining because it was wonderful, but I was just worried. I was worried because I was like, I got commentary Sunday. But yeah, for Sunday, I met with Nun and we talked about doing content for like the 57th time, which is why I did that tweet. He actually asked me to make that tweet. Because like Nun and I, if you guys don't know, like every time Nun and I go somewhere, like especially this happened every time we would go somewhere for GG, we'd always go, yo, you want to do content? Yeah, you know, you're so good at content. Like I think we do a really good job together. Like you do this, I do that. We try to play like each other. We coach each other, whatever. We make it turn into video. Maybe we do a Patreon for it. We like have all these ideas. And then we go, yo, you just need to hit me up. And like both of us have this thing where we're like, yo, if you just hit me up, like it's going to happen. But both of us are like that. So like we always talk about it and then and we even talked about how we know we're both like that this time. Like it's getting to such a ridiculous point. It's getting to such a ridiculous point. And he was like, yo, but no, seriously, you need to hit me up. He was like pretty serious about this time. I was like, all right. So I probably do need to hit up Nun. He's not gonna hit me up. I talked to Cody like really early on Saturday. But every time I see Cody at an event, he's like, what's up, you wanna play? you trying to game? he's like, I just want to tell you about stuff you could be doing better. Like, he really wants to help. Like, Cody's been nothing but really nice to me. Cody's been nothing but super nice. But I think, like, it gives me hope, because it means, like, when my health is good, I can ask Cody for games and, like, whatever advice he might be willing to give, and he'd be able to give it, and that would be incredibly valuable, don't you think? I think so. And I'm not just saying that because I just watched that tournament. So, top 32, I'm watching top 32. I'm in the crowd. I'm just standing around like a bum. But it ended up being kind of good because people came up and said hey to me. Kodorin came up and talked to me for a while and watched the games with me. And I was like, hey, you look like a dad. He was just like, okay. Just very, very Kodorin. He don't care. He's like, do I? And I was like, yeah, he don't care. Nothing phases Kodorin. And then he was like, yo, how's your health? And he was like grilling me about it. Kodorin wants me back like yesterday. There were so many people that came up to me and said hey. Even during top 32, when I'm like very intently watching the melee, they're like, yo, hey, can you sign this? Can you take a picture? And of course I say yeah, like that's a big part of why I'm there. I didn't really stop and chat too much, but I took pictures and signed things. And if they wanted to say something really quickly, I of course, said something really quickly to them. If they wanted to ask a question, I answered it. But I also was walking around, and there were people, I would be walking, and I would see like one or two or multiple people turn and look at me and quickly look away. And I was like, all right, listen, hey, listen, you guys can choose how you want to go, right? So there were so many people that came up and were absolutely wonderful throughout the whole time. I really didn't have a bad interaction with anyone. Some people were surprised by that, but no, I had a great interaction with every single person that came up. But there were a few people that didn't say hey, and that's your decision, but I would have been glad to talk to you. That's all I can tell you. But I'm glad to talk to you here, if no other time. So again, super heartwarming that, like, even though, there's this really great melee going on, they take some time, even between sets, to still talk to me. I thought that was super nice. Well, OG Kid said hey to me. I said, oh, hey. OG Kid, didn't you get canceled on Twitter? And he was like, yo, chill. Yeah, the VIP area was funny because, like, how we were at a zoo, right? I kept saying that it looked like the VIP people were in the zoo enclosure because it was like the smaller room and we could look up and see them. But then someone said to me once when I said that, they were like, well, they're looking down on us like we're in the zoo animals in the enclosure. And I was like, oh, it's really a matter of perspective, isn't it? The Peach set was so funny. Bro, when the Peach set started... so they did the hype, they did the intro, they played the melee intro music, everyone's like, yeah, let's go! And then it's the Peach Ditto. Like, they clap for everyone getting on stage, the Peach Ditto starts. And immediately it sounds like how it's like when a substitute teacher gets up and starts trying to teach, and the whole class is just yapping, they're not listening. That's what it felt like on a big scale. It's like the whole crowd was like, bro, we watching this. And I was like, this is so messed up. Everyone was just yapping. It was crazy. But yeah, then it was top 4 commentary. I knew I had top 4. I've never closed out a tournament, an open bracket tournament before. I've never done a Tricast before. I mean, I did that first Coinbox commentary with like HBox, M2K, like plup, but it was like mostly M2K getting drunk and going insane, which like hardly counts. I realized that Stewed and June actually had really good chemistry. I felt like I was third wheeling when I was up there a lot of the time because they're like riffing off each other. They're like making jokes. They're like, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, I think this. And I'm like, oh, am I too quiet? I don't know. I don't know if I'm too quiet. I was getting self-conscious. I was getting self-conscious while I was on the commentary booth, and I was like, no, you have to lock in. Even if you end up not doing your best commentary, you have to lock in, do the best with what you can figure it out later. But I cannot tell you, like, for the first maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, I was so worried. Luckily that didn't end up giving you guys too much of a trouble. You guys liked it. And I did talk over Stewed a couple times. Okay, wait. First. Okay. Listen. There was an additional challenge with commentating top 4. The additional challenge was the headphones. Not that there was anything like wrong with them, but they didn't block out the crowd really well. And so when the crowd would be like, "Rah!" or they would just start chanting or whatever, I couldn't really hear my co-commentators. I couldn't hear them. So I would just have to like assume what they might have talked about and talked about something else instead. And then one time, I don't remember what it was, but there was an FD game and Stude asked me a question and he leaned over and asked me a question and I had no idea what he asked me. It was something about Marth. I know that much, but I was like, I have no idea what he just asked me. And I was like, time slowed down and I was like, I can either ask him what he just said and it gets worse, or I could just YOLO it and just start talking, and I just YOLO'd it. And maybe it worked out and no one noticed, but I was like, dude, I feel like I'm hecking up this whole top 4, man. I was so worried. But especially with finals, I felt like, because I was just getting so into it, June and Stu had gone over a lot of things they wanted to go over because the set, was going to game 10. I was finding more moments to get in there, and I didn't talk over them much. Again, a couple of times over Stu. Sorry, Stu, but he was very cool about it. And I ended up closing it out feeling like, okay, well, at least I did finals pretty good, I thought. But people were like, oh, I liked you the whole time, and what you said was really good, and the way you said it, and even for people that don't play, but the people that do play really liked it. And I was like, well, I got some option coverage here. I was like, oh, I like that. Part of the reason I think I did so much better this time than before was just because, again, I think my health is doing better and stuff too. Let's talk about the future. Point number 1, I would certainly rather be competing than commentating, but I'm not at competing point yet. Point number 2, if I'm going to commentate, I would certainly like the people to really want it. I would like the TOs to want it. Because otherwise, why am I doing it? You know what I mean? I don't want to just go in there and assume, oh, I'm going to, only I can do this and I must, bestow my beautiful melee words on you all. No, it needs to be something you guys want, or what's the point, right? If you guys aren't enjoying it, I'm kind of wasting everybody's time. Point number 3, a big part of why I went out to this was Ohan helped me with so many aspects of getting out here, like travel and hotel and everything. I'm not sponsored right now. The stream's doing okay. Not as many people are doing the coaching. It's getting, and rent's going up, so things are getting tight. So there is the chance that I maybe dono goal some tournaments to commentate. I was thinking, I know Supernova kind of wants me to be there, and that's not as far, so that'd be a cheaper dono goal. I could maybe have a longer term dono goal for maybe Genesis. I think I could probably get a top 32 block there. That's up to kind of how we all feel about it and how it goes. And of course, if I didn't make a dono goal, if I didn't make it in time for a dono goal, I would probably just roll that over to some other event or something. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep prioritizing my health, because I think, that's what's going to make my commentary better naturally. I'm also thinking about moving here in the next couple of months, so I'm going to be thinking about that as well. And then once I'm moved and settled in, a place with lower rent. If you're interested in supporting, but also wanting to get something from it, you can get some coaching right there in Patreon, or you can, support and get into the Discord, or you can, watch coaching lessons from other people. There's really something you can get for every price point that you might, feel comfortable with. Oh, one more thing. While I did talk about commentary and I did talk about competing, being in person and feeling just the raw enthusiasm of the crowd and of the players, and just seeing Melee in person, it's just so much more motivating than seeing it online. It's just so much more exciting and inspiring than seeing it online. So while it doesn't necessarily mean that I can start competing, today, it means that I am that much more eager to do it, to get everything else out of my way so I can do it. And that's what I'm really wanting. And I, having that emotional pull is what's going to help get me there. A lot to be excited about, a lot to be happy about here. So that's everything. That's my tipped off 16 Safari Elephants Outside and Giraffes Somewhere experience. That's all the stuff I wrote, aside from my first Uber driver being able to speak Russian. I don't really know why I wrote that down.